is gonna happen. Dahmer's cool stuff. Do good gaming. Hey guys, what's up? Dahmer's Cool Stuff here, and I've got a different Magic the Gathering Deck Tech for you. Last Deck Tech video was Tarka Zada, and the one comment basically said I am technically playing Naya. So yeah, Naya Zada is now what I'm playing, but it's going to be the same deck, but I want to do something a little different. This is called version 2.0. I'm going to take you through the course of the evolution of this deck, and what changes have been made, why they were made, and a little further explanation. I figured it's a different, unique take. I am pretty much playing this deck type for a long time. I'm having way too much fun with it. So here we go. This is Zada, Naya Zada, or Zada Naya, which is a great tongue twister, but here we go. We're going to start with the red cards first. We're still rocking 4 Temur BattleRages. That's one of the key components here, double strike. And when you get the ferocious trigger activated, that's trample damage as well, and that's significant. That's the power of a Tarka, you know, a Tarka red nowadays. Just that double strike, trample, game overs happen a lot because of this card coming out. We're playing 4 copies of Monastary Swiftspear because we're playing an aggressive red deck, and Monastary Swiftspear needs to be in any aggressive red deck. Sorry, it's just, I still say, you know, I think it was supposed to be a rare, and they printed it out as an uncommon, so thank you, Wizards. We're playing 3 Titan Strengths. We used to play 4 because of the next card I'm going to talk about, but 3 Titan Strengths is fine. Basically, the general gist of this deck is somewhat toolboxy. You want to have a lot of options available. So that's why we're playing a lot of 3-ofs on the red, just to make sure that we get it, and we can be more diverse in whatever situation may arise, because a lot of this deck is very situational based. You want to play certain cards at certain times and make sure that you play certain cards ahead of each other. The newest edition, 3 Abbot of Keral Keep. At first I looked at this card and I was like, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. But I was playing Swell of Growth. And that got taken out because it was half situational, and only the one half was very situational based. I feel Abbot of Keral Keep is the same thing. Only one half of the card is going to work 100% of the time. I'm still learning how to play around this card too. Sometimes the card that you flip up might be dead. You know, it might be Zada and you've played it turn 2 and you've just shot yourself in the foot, so to speak. Or you might get lucky and it might be a land. So I don't play, when I have the Abbot in my hand, I don't play a land for the turn. I'm hoping to draw into a land. Or, you know, if I have a land in my hand and, you know, I draw into a spell on the Abbot, I can cast the spell, whether it be Defiant Strike or, you know, Become Immense or whatever. It's very situational based. And I think 4 of is not necessary in this deck. Definitely 3 of. An absolute worst case scenario, it's a Prowess creature as well, which keeps the theme of the majority of the creatures that we're playing in this deck having some sort of Prowess trigger or some sort of other trigger involved with it as well. There's not many unitasking creatures in this deck. We're playing 3 Lightning Berserkers because it actually proved to be really, really good when I was playing the 3 Lightning Berserkers in the Zergo. Fast, dash it in, always for a creature, especially if you have a Zada in play. That's a free creature trigger when you cast your spell. So yeah, Lightning Berserker, it's fast, and if you don't get a 1-drop that's named Monastery Swiftspear, well, you can get a 1-drop named Lightning Berserker. Doesn't do you no wrong, and if you have excessive mana in the mid to late game, well then, you have a pump, so to speak, for it. Because this is an aggressive deck, but it's more mid-rangey from what I've been discovering and from what I kind of knew. You know, there's a little bit of a setup in this deck. It's not simply smash, punch, and face every turn. There's some complications that you have to figure out with this deck, especially in combat. I'm learning some mistakes the hard way, which is great because that's why some cards have been taken out and some cards have been replaced. 3 Dragon Fodders. It was 4, now it's down to 3. I feel in the next iteration, these 3 Dragon Fodders might be getting cut. We have enough creatures now, especially with the Abbots in play. It's a Prowess trigger for 1 and creatures on the field. It's one of those dual-edged sword cards that Is there a better 2-drop I would like to get? Yeah, I'd like to get an Abbot of Keral Keep, but if I get a Dragon Fodder in the turn 2, that's not too bad if I'm playing that. The name of the deck, 3 Zadas. Zada is the nucleus to this deck for the most part. Everything else in the deck can function without Zada. But if Zada gets on the field, forget it. If Zada gets on the field and survives, forget about it. It's pretty bad. People who have let her live into her second turn of existence have not gotten past that second turn of existence. Simply put, it's just a lightning rod for hate, which is great because it's going to get rid of removal spells. I'd rather have, you know, if I've got a couple creatures on the field and I bring in Zada, I'd rather have that Ruinous Path going Zada's way as opposed to Seeker, you know, because I still have the backup plans of the Become Immense Temur BattleRage combos and the Titan Strength Defiant Strike combos, so to speak. Get in, have one guy get through, and pump the living crap out of it. But when Zada comes in, the hate happens. It's simply put. So yeah, we're playing 3 of the namesake. 4 has always proven to me to be a little too much. Now we're going to the white section of the deck. It's changed a little bit. We're only playing 8 of them now, and we're playing 4 Seeker of the Ways. Pretty much Prowess, Lifelink when a non-creature spell is cast. Gained 20 points of life, if not more, by turn 4 because of a Temur BattleRage Become Immense with this thing. It is simply an all-star that you can get for like 50 or 60 something cents at this point. But yeah, it's still proven to be one of the better cards, especially in tandem with Monastery Swiftspear. I kind of like the turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear, turn 2 Seeker of the Way, turn 3 Prowess the living crap out of both of them into a win condition. If it comes out early game, great. If it comes out mid game, cool. If it comes out late game, not so much of a good thing. Life gain is always good, and this is the only card in the deck that can get us life. Yes, we're playing green, but we're not playing too much. 4 Defiant Strikes. +1/+0 till end of turn, but its second ability is what we're mainly after, drawing a card. The way you want to work with it is you want to cast this card first. This card needs to be first on the stack, pre-combat. And I'll explain why a little bit, especially if you have a couple creatures on the field with Zada. It's a pre-combat spell because you're usually using it as a cantrip to draw into cards. You want to draw into your bigger pump spells, or you want to draw into more haste creatures with the Monastery Swiftspears, or, you know, another Titan Strength, or another Temur BattleRage. You know, you want to draw into pump spells with this card. Don't be afraid to use it, though. You know, if you draw into it with an Abbot of Keral Keep on turn 2, use it, because that's another card, because you're filtering through your deck faster. And the faster you can filter through your deck, the better it is. That's why blue cards love their dig through times and their treasure cruises, because they can just plow through their deck to get the power that they need to beat you. And that's what Defiant Strike becomes with Zada and a couple creatures on the board. And now green. Basically, we're still playing the 4 Become Immenses. Remember, this was based off of an Atarka shell. So Atarka command is basically, you know, Become Immense, Temur BattleRage. Stitch Cup of Coffee for the win. It's the backup plan as well. Remember, Zada's not going to come out into play all the time or live past her first turn of existence when she comes into play, so we need a backup plan. When brewing with this card, that's where the collapse would happen, because I was relying too much on Zada as the nucleus to the deck as opposed to a complement to the deck. It's still the mainstay, but it's no longer the central piece connecting everything. And Become Immense, +6/+6, and we've got enough spells that we're playing and enough fetch lands. Easily paying its delve cost is not a problem. You're not paying 6 mana for this card. It's more likely you're paying 1 green mana. And then another tweak into this deck for version 2.0, Honored Hierarch. It's a creature. It's a 1/1 for 1 green. It's got Renowned, so if you get it first turn, second turn, it attacks, and if it gets through, boom, you got a 2/2 with the great ability to tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. A little slower than Beastcaller Savant, but Beastcaller Savant's caveat is that it can only cast creature spells. I was playing Rattleclaw Mystics, but it's a 2 mana costing creature. It's got a cool flip mechanic to it with Morph, but it just wasn't fitting. It just wasn't gelling well. I don't know how Honored Hierarch is going to gel, but it's somewhat mana fixing. We don't need mana fixing. it might not stay. I just might put the Secure the Wastes back in, or, you know, 2 Mighty Leaps, or 2 Swell of Growths, you know, 2 more green cards. So the 2 Honored Hierarchs will help out with the mana fixing a little bit, and I just want to see if mana fixing's okay. And the mana base is almost the same as it was before, except for one, I think, tweak. We're doing 6 mountains, 2 plains, 2 forests. That's our basic lands. Everything else is non-basic. We've got 3 Canopy Vistas. That's, you know, mana fixing for our green and white. Those are our green-white sources on top of the 2 forests, 2 plains. We've got 2 Cinder Glades. That is our more green and more red mana fixing. We need as much green as possible because Become Immense is more important than Seeker of the Way, in my opinion, because it's kind of like one of our secret win cons, so to speak. We got 2 Evolving Wilds. This is going to start our fetches. 2 Evolving Wilds, they will be replaced eventually, but for now, they're not that bad. They can grab basics only, but I can guarantee myself on getting a forest or getting a plains that I need. Now we're going into the fetches. This is the other big change, the fetches. I finally completed my playset of Bloodstained Mires. So we're rocking 4 Bloodstained Mires. This is going to be able to get you your mountains or your Cinder Glades. And we're running 1 Wooded Foothill and 1 Windswept Heath. That's the next improvements that's going to be. I would like to get at least 1 more Wooded Foothill and 1 more Windswept Heath. Possibly a 3rd Windswept Heath, if needed, because it's more important to try to get as much as we can our green and white sources of mana. And if I get those, well, you know, the Evolving Wilds, they can go bye-bye. The sideboard has changed a little bit as well, a little bit, not too much. We're running 3 Fiery Impulses still. That's just creature removal if we're playing heavy creature deck. It's a good spell, and we're gonna definitely get our instant sorceries to complete spell mastery, so it's 3 damage for 1 mana. You can't go wrong. We're doing 2 Radiant Flames. This is a really good card. It's going to affect your creatures as well, but if you're going in an aggro battle, so to speak, or if you're going up against crazy Thopter tokens, or if you're going up against crazy Hangerback Walker tokens, or anything involving tokens, or just flooding the board, Radiant Flames takes care of everything. And we're playing 3 colors, so most of the creatures are going to die. We're playing 2 Roasts because still Siege Rhino is still a thing, and we really need to be able to solve Siege Rhinos. They really will pound our face in until oblivion. 2 Valorous Stance because it's double duty, as always. Protection for the Zada or killing a creature power 4 or greater because Siege Rhino is still a thing. Can't stress that enough. 2 Feats of Resistances, +1/+1 counters, and prevent all damage dealt to target creature this turn. Hey, that's just value town right there, especially with Zada. Everything gets a +1/+1 counter plus protection from whatever color you want. Sign me up. Stasis Snare, that's just control. If, you know, we have something that we can't kill that's not a Siege Rhino, well, we can get a Stasis Snare and just eliminate it from play. And Suppression Bonds does the same thing. It's a little more expensive, but it doesn't require the 2 white sources of mana that needed to fire off Suppression Bonds. Plummet, because Mantis Rider really pounded me in the face at game day. So that's the whole deck. That's version 2.0. If I change the deck, which more than likely will happen, because I see at least I'm thinking about getting rid of the 3 Dragon Fodders, and if Honored Hierarch doesn't work, I'm thinking about getting rid of the 2 of them as well. This is going to be a unique take, I think, and I hope, and I feel, on a standard deck tech, because it's always going to be evolving, and I will show you the evolution of the deck tech. Of this deck tech. Because deck taps are a thing. This is Dahmer's Cool Stuff, and as always, do good gaming, and may your top deck always be mythic. Hey folks, hope you liked the episode. If you did, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me, and that's the only way that you'll be able to catch up on the latest videos that I get to do. If you like that video, click this link, and that's going to take you to the Drunk Lonely Gamers playing the M8 demo unit, episode 5. This is where we play baseball, golf, and tennis. We had a lot of fun doing this. This was recorded in 1 day, and it's spread out over all these episodes because it was a 2.5-hour fiesta. with a 20-minute break in between to find Chris's phone. Also, click this link, and that's going to take you to the 2-year anniversary with me and Chris playing through Smash TV, and we just talk about how he became the first member of the channel other than me. It's really great, it's really fun, it's long, it's about an hour, broken up into 2 parts, but you get real deep insight onto how the Gaming Onio Maniacs became the Gaming Onio Maniacs, and then later on I decided to move away from the Gaming Onio Maniacs because I decided to move, because reasons. And finally, if you want to click this link, that's going to take you to the Gaming Onio Maniacs episode 16, Vacation, where I went on vacation to North Carolina before I moved to North Carolina. In this video, you get to experience my first taste of southern flea markets and southern game hunting in general.